Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
What is going on? How you guys all doing this Sunday afternoon? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and this is my review of this past Friday night's edition of Friday Night SmackDown, the July 19th, 2024 edition took place in Omaha, Nebraska. We are 2 weeks away from the biggest party of the summer, Summerslam, just 2 hours northwest of me in Cleveland, Ohio. Again, a couple of my good friends are going to be attending. Unfortunately, again, I will not be able to attend. I would have loved to have gone, but again, I have other priorities and commitments to attend for at this time, but maybe again some other time. I did go to SummerSlam last year at the very last minute, of course, but I'm sure again someday I'll be at another SummerSlam. But anyways, rolling into talking about SmackDown this week. It was okay, if I'm being honest. SmackDown, again, as I keep saying, just continues to be a show that's not horrible, but again, it's missing something. There was a couple things I did like on the show. My favorite thing for sure was definitely the match with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I did like the split screen interview with Bayley and Nia Jax. And of course, the contract sign making one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most official for SummerSlam, Logan Paul and L.A. Knight, yeah, for the United States Championship, a match I have been waiting for probably about a year now. Again, I've been wanting that match ever since Logan and Knight had their run-in promos leading up to last year's Money in the Bank ladder match that I just dreaded they were going to give to Logan Paul. You know, if Vince was around and had full power, he would have given that briefcase to Logan Paul, right? Other than that, yeah, of course. Everything else, though, like especially the stuff, again, I mentioned it, and I continue to say this, and I even did a short about it recently. I've really lost a lot of interest in this build for Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. That stuff is just meh to me right now. And again, it's not, again, I keep saying, it's not Cody's fault. I just still feel like, again, SmackDown is full of a bunch of talent right now that we know are great, but are still shedding off the cobwebs. They're not back on the level they once were before they got injected with Vince McMahon's lethal poisoning. Basically, as I keep saying. And again, right now, I still don't feel like they've done enough to build up Solo as someone that I can believably say I'm ready to see dethrone Cody Rhodes. Again, I think the only thing they had to fix, really, was to give him a little more wins in between from WrestleMania 40's Fallout this past year and back to Crown Jewel when he beat John Cena. Had that happen, I think I would have been ready to see Solo take the title from Cody. Of course, if Solo doesn't win the title from Cody, though, that may be a problem. But, of course, that match is definitely more going to be about, even though it is the main event, I'd rather it not be the main event, because I don't feel like it's worthy of a SummerSlam main event. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, I still feel like it is the most hyped up match for SummerSlam this year, I feel like. Which, by the way, now I'm hearing rumors that Seth Rollins will not be wrestling in the match. But there's rumors that Seth Rollins will be a special guest referee in that match. Interesting, for sure enough there. But again, like, it just doesn't feel like a match that's, again, it's there. And to be honest, I gotta be real with you. Solo right now is probably my least favorite. I mean, I love Solo, but he seems the weakest to me out of all the members of the Bloodline. Okay, maybe except for Tonga Loa, because he hasn't done too much. But this fear of Jacob Fatu looking like a bigger deal than Solo, I hate to say it, but I already see it. And I want Solo to be a main eventer, for sure. It's just, again, it's like just that little period of time where they kind of slacked off on him. It's kind of coming back to bite them. So again, that's not Cody's fault. It's just, again, it's just the roster he has right now, which is making his reign not look as strong as it should. Not saying it was going to be great to begin with, but it doesn't look strong because there's not someone on the roster right now that you can believably say that person can be hyped up to dethrone Cody Rhodes. So, like I said, yeah, like it's definitely starting to go around in circles with this Bloodline stuff and Cody Rhodes. Like, let's just get that part out of the way throughout the whole entire show. Cody Rhodes opened up the show talking about what happened with Randy Orton last week. And basically said Randy Orton is one of the reasons why he's standing here where he is today. He had a lot of guilt watching the Bloodline put him through a table. Family's not always blood. His song says wrestling is more than one royal family, and Randy is family. Randy to him is like a brother. If he were here, he wouldn't want Cody to wax poetic talking about guilt and shame, but instead, he'd rather look directly into the eye and talk to the man responsible, Sol Sikoa. And he said he looked Sol in the eye before WrestleMania 39 and said he wasn't ready. And he paid him back in kind by costing him the title shot he's holding now. And which he would continue, he would have said, Solo, you're still not ready. Which to me, I'd say Solo, if it wasn't for those few months in the stalling period, as I call it, you would have been ready by now. He should have been ready by now. But again, they slacked off on him. But anyways, then for some reason, he gets interrupted by A-Town Down Under. Which I'm like, okay, if you're going to have like another group in the interim go after Cody Rhodes, why would it have to be someone a group who just lost the tag titles? And again, they're also teasing a breakup like crazy between these two, which whoever's the face, whoever's the heel, I have no idea. Although, I do feel like, I still think back to when we had Austin Theory, when he first lost the briefcase and kind of the character shift he had there. If we can get like build off of that a little bit more when we got it, a Cody Rhodes and Austin Theory match actually wouldn't be too bad. But right now, though, I just don't see him on that level, unfortunately. But they came out, they started talking more trash on Cody, saying that you're spending all this time talking about the Bloodline, but because of him, though, they got attacked by Jacob Fatu, and Austin has a swollen cheek. And then Cody goes, well, that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for your tag team partner, Grayson, kneeing you in the face. Which, of course, teases again another split between them. But Waller then says Cody's not being willing to own up to his buddy getting hurt. After furthermore, Cody is why Randy got hurt. They get in the ring and Cody starts swinging again because Cody goes in these fights that are just 4-on-1s, 2-on-1s and whatnot. And of course, though, Cody sends him packing. And then he's told by Nick Aldis he has to get he has to find a tag team partner for the main event. Him and his tag team partner taking on A-Town Down Under. And of course, there was a promo later on with Solo talking about anyone who gets involved in this will pay for it, pretty much. But of course, though, it wasn't quite worth it because the tag team partner ended up being the only other person who's been involved in this storyline. That's Kevin Owens. Was kind of hoping for someone different, if I'm being honest. Like, hey, you could have maybe done Johnny Gargano and kind of had that, like, because eventually they're probably going to get back to Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. We're still ways away from that. Again, it'll feel like a nostalgia act more so having on the main roster, but you know that's going to happen eventually. I feel like they have been occasionally teasing those little bullet point moments where they could like revert back to when it does come time for the turn for the split of DIY. And again, you could have done Johnny Gargano and teaming up with Cody Rhodes here as like a surprise, but instead you went with Kevin Owens. Again, who we already know is involved in the storyline, and of course the beatdown didn't happen until after the match. So to me, it was kind of like nothing really new happened here. It was all just kind of filler. Like, stuff like that remind me of when SmackDown felt more of like a recap show rather than like a storytelling show. Like, that's what all that kind of reminded me of. Which, again, it was the main course, and like I said, I didn't really care too much about it, but it happened. What I did like, though, again, my favorite part was probably the match with Carmelo, Hayes, and Andrade. This was an excellent match. These two have excellent chemistry. Feels like a match they should save for pay-per-view sometime. I thought it was great. Good counters. Andrade wins with his finisher that he's been calling the Message, where he kind of like sets up for the hammerlock DDT, but then like kind of like spins your opponent into it. Kind of like I was going to say of a backwards crossroads or something. I don't know. Like it's unique. But he gets the win, and we'll go from there. Like I said, definitely one of the best parts of the show. What I also did like is this split screen interview with Nia Jax and Bayley. Nia says she ain't listening, and you just need to look at her and look at Bayley to know you should start feeling sorry for Bayley because she is going to be losing at SummerSlam. Like an old, sick dog. Bayley says that Nia hasn't changed in 10 years, and Nia protests that she should be addressed as Queen Nia for winning Queen of the Ring. Bayley says she'll call her how she likes, and I think that this is like this is where like it really like, you know, like this was kind of like that hook, like, ooh, and of course it even got me thinking too how like the dynamic of the storyline is, but Bayley says again she'll call Nia whatever she wants. Nia is the same heartless woman with a big mouth who thinks she owns a place. And yes, years ago, she took her out of her SummerSlam match. She was supposed to have a match against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam 2017. Instead, it was Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. And she didn't hurt her because she's so mean and vicious, but because she's big, clumsy, and reckless. A moment of truth there where we were all saying for the longest time with her first run how Nia Jax was just not safe to work in the ring, and she was not getting any better. And I always thought this too, it just always felt like they were half-assing with her. They weren't, you know, booking her like they are now, making her dangerous, but is a lot more safer in the ring. And also, like, she has much more of a purpose now than she did before. Nia, of course, gets mad and says she's content with being queen, and she's coming for the title because she gets to take it off of Bayley. Bayley has bad news. She doesn't want her to listen to what people are saying about how much bigger she is. If she's saying she's changed so much, well, so has Bayley. And she's walking out champion, and there's not a damn thing you can do about that. And then Nia just freaks out, and just the interview just ends. To me, it kind of felt like, I think back to 2017. I remember I made a video on this at the end of 2017, where Shane McMahon was involved in these feuds that he was the face, but he was there to get the heel over. Like when he feuded with AJ Styles. And also when he feuded with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Although he was the babyface, he felt like the one that was asking for getting his comeuppance. because as the babyface, he spoke some truth. And when you speak truth, it's the opposition's job to prove themselves wrong. I kind of got that vibe with this satellite interview. Bayley called out Nia purely for what was her problem in her first run. Now at SummerSlam, she has to prove us all wrong and solidify that. Like, again, another example. I'll say this. An example that it didn't work out, John Cena and Austin Theory. Austin Theory didn't come out of that feud looking better. Cena buried him on the microphone, and although he won, it didn't make him... the way he won still did not make him look good. It really didn't. So I'm hoping... I'm seeing that vibe with this. And again, I'm pretty sure Nia is going to win the title, and we'll see where it goes. Again, giving her credit. Again, although I still cringe hearing her on the microphone, not as bad as before. But again, as I keep saying, she has improved. She has a purpose. Her matches have been tons better than they were originally. So we'll see what happens with her as women's champion. We also get footage of Bianca and Jade arguing with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven over who gets to talk to Nick Aldis. And then instead they have Bianca Belair then squash Chelsea Green in like 10 seconds on an O'Connor roll. Meh. And then afterwards, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn appear in a Tron. And next week, they said that next week Bianca and Jade will get a tiny glimpse of all their power. But when it comes to the rematch, they'll see. As the rematch for women's tag titles. And I have to say this again also. I'm glad again they got the moment in their home country. But why did you put the tag titles on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn if they're barely ever on TV? Before they're champions, they were barely on TV. Since they've been champions, they've barely been on TV. I don't get why they gave them that moment if they're barely on TV. Because this reign has really not done anything for either one of them. But, whatever. LA Knight makes his way out. Nick Aldis is there to do the contract signing for the United States Championship match at SummerSlam. It had already been signed by Aldis and LA Knight. And they need to get the champ, Logan Paul's signature. Logan Paul does show up. And he's like, I ain't giving you a title shot. But then LA Knight says... Every time that they've been face-to-face, he's owned and cooked him, and he keeps making his case. But Logan cuts him off and says, you need the match, but I don't. He talks about all this extracurriculars and says, well, you are just a gym rat with spray tan and a catchphrase cosplaying The Rock. LA Knight says that's nothing, he hasn't been hurt before, and he wants to talk about frauds. Logan is out here pretending to be a champion, but he won't sign a contract. He mentioned his brother. Jake jumped up in the ring with Mike Tyson, but Logan don't have the balls to fight him now. And that gets Logan amped up. He's like, fine, I'll sign the contract. I'll give you a shot at glory. But after SummerSlam, you'll be nothing. And he opens the contract back up, draws a map to where LA can stick his dreams of being a champion. And then they get into a brief shoving match, but Aldis gets in between them, but don't last. And then Logan Paul lands a cheap shot, but LA Knight manages to get his hands on him, attempting the BFT, but Logan runs away. So that match is finally official. It didn't happen at SummerSlam last year. Didn't happen at WrestleMania this year. It's finally happening at SummerSlam. And LA Knight needs to win that title off of Logan Paul. Again, I was okay with keeping the title on Logan a little bit longer because of the Prime sponsorship. It's time, though. Again, there's nothing else for him to do with that U.S. title. He can still, do his social media crap and promote all this stuff without the title. So, he doesn't need it. LA Knight needs it. He's well beyond, ready to be a champion. So, we'll see where that goes. Tiffany Stratton has a hype reel, and she comes out as she's getting ready for a match against Mia Yim. Before the match, though, LA Knight's backstage. he runs into Santos Escobar, who congratulates Knight on getting his title shot. And LA Knight says, "Where you go with this?" Escobar offers a friendly reminder that everybody knows if it was the two of them one-on-one, he would have won. Knight though says if he wants to get in touch, his mom has his number. Santos says a match before his title shot is a bad idea, but if he's eager to squander his opportunity like that, he'll help. This then leads to... Joe, you're in the way of my microphone. Hold on, sorry. Jojo. My cat. Josie, come on. Sorry, Jojo. Not now. Daddy's still recording his video. Anyways. Pop filter good. I think we're good there. Anyways. We had a match with Tiffany Stratton and Mia Yim, who keeps trying to beat up Nia Jax. Don't know why. Match was good. And surprisingly, of course, Bayley comes out to help Mia Yim. And Nia Jax was out there as well, trying to get involved. But then Bayley kind of gets revenge by destroying Tiffany Stratton's briefcase, which off that distraction gave Mia Yim a win. For once, they finally gave Mia Yim a win. Like, about time. Like, why are you holding back on her? I'm not saying make her number one contender right now. Like, at least, like, make her feel credible. Like, you got someone, like, you could probably book her like how you're booking Lyra Valkyria. You're not, giving her the world right now. But you're at least, building up her credibility, so when it comes her time to getting a shot, then she will feel credible and ready. So, I just wish they would do that with someone like Mia Yim. And she's looked great in the ring the past couple weeks as well, or lately as well, too. So, yeah, she got a win over Tiffany Stratton. Bayley destroyed the briefcase. Probably a sign again of the fact that Tiffany Stratton will, in fact, be having, like, her personal branded Miss Money in the Bank briefcase, which is cool with me. And yeah, that was, other than that, and the stuff with the Bloodline, I already talked about that. That's all that happened on SmackDown. Not a lot happened, really. Like I said, I liked the sit-down interview. My favorite thing by far was still that match with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. And I also, I like the stuff with LA Knight and Logan Paul. Yes, I'm glad they gave Mia Yim a win. It wasn't like, popping out of my chair like, oh my god, best thing ever thing. But, it was good. I give this a decent grade. I give it a C+. C+ for SmackDown this week. And, yeah, like I said, SmackDown seems to be a show where it's like, it's passable, but it's not making me go, holy smokes, I gotta watch SmackDown this week. It's like, okay, let's see what they do on SmackDown today. Not like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this. You don't see me saying that. I feel more like that for Raw right now. But, again, as I keep saying, all I ask for is that even if you try and it doesn't work, again, you tried. You're not out there to, play with our heads, insult our intelligence. That's when I get pissed off. But shows like this, or it shows like you're trying things, some things are clicking, some things are not clicking. It's going to happen. So a C+ for SmackDown. Before I go off the air, though, I am going to want to make an announcement. I just posted in the community tab on the page. Again, I've been taking a break from Twitter and Instagram. Again, I've just felt a little burned out with social media. But also, as I said in a video I posted last month, it just felt like there was still some, personal things from my life that were getting involved in those accounts. And I felt it was best for me to start fresh once I was ready to give it another go. So I'm going to try and see if I can use the same names as before, since it's been over a month since the accounts were last active. If not, I may have to change up the names for the accounts The channel, of course, will still be the Club of the Man 1993. But the social media pages may be different. We'll see, though. Again, I am going to bring them back, though, not this week, but the week of SummerSlam. Like that, like Sunday or Monday is when I will make the new accounts. And I will share on them what they are. And again, they will be solely based to promote the channel and to share any, like, news topics in the world of, like, wrestling or, you know, video games, baseball, like, stuff that's in my interest, of course. And yeah, we will, of course, go from there after that. So, guys, thank you for joining me for this review of SmackDown. What are your guys' thoughts this week's episode of SmackDown? You felt it was like a wee bit lackluster? You can leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. You may follow me on TikTok at the Club of the Man 1993. The Twitter and Instagram's almost back. Let's give it another week, guys. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. Have a great start to your week. And do not ever forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!